Hey, Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media, covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, aka Man of the People. I'm laughing because your comments are already coming through. But here to, as the title say, let's talk about it. The Carolina Panthers have now lost 4 games in a row. A big loss yesterday. Man, I forget the score off the top of my head. Let me look it up before I speak incorrectly. I think it was 30-14. Let me look it up. Yes, final score yesterday, Carolina Panthers 14, Dallas Cowboys 30. Next up, the Arizona Cardinals. As I always promised, the day after show us for you guys, right? You guys dictate the content for today. And also, you can call in. So as I say that, I remember that I forgot to put that on the screen. So give me a second, I'll put that out there. But for anybody and everybody, hopefully you call in, whether you want to vent, whether you want to compliment, whether you have a question, whatever it is. It's just like call-in radio, but this is video, right? And you get to do it with me. And I hope you guys enjoy it. 3 more games left: Cardinals, Bucks, and Falcons. So we'll go ahead and get into it. Give me just a second. I forgot to put this link in the description, so I'm going to pin it here in the comments in just a second. Call in now. There is that link. And let me see if I can pin it in the comment for you. Give me just a second. See if I can't get this here. All right. Appreciate the patience while I get this dialed in. I'm sorry. You guys already clicked on it. So that seems to be working. And let me answer this call here. Sorry. Didn't have everything right in front of me like I should, but we getting it together. We getting it together. 1 second. All right, let's go ahead and do this. My man, Shaq Bartel. What's going on, man?
Hey, how are you?
I'm all right. I've had some better days, to be honest, but I'm here talking to you. We're going to get through it.
Yeah, so I'm pissed off. Everything yesterday was probably one of the worst Carolina Panthers game in team history. And I'm not kidding. I mean, the effort, offense was horrendous. Offensive line, 79, Ike Kwano, which I'm sure is a good person off the field, but you cannot easily get beat up. You cannot. And he's a third-year pro, wasted a 6th overall pick, and a guy who literally got beat up time after time, and Bryce had to roll to the right. And Bryce, too many bad interception, 2 of them. The first one, I honestly, and I wasn't in the game, so I'm not sure how it appeared from the press box, but from 204, section 204, which is very close to the visiting team goal line, it appeared like the ball hit Adam Tinlin in the end and went up and was intercepted. So I'm not sure if that was a bad throw or something else. The first fumble, I don't mind it because Bryce tried to keep the play alive, and that's what happened. Second fumble, totally unacceptable. Interception toward the end of the game, totally unacceptable. But my gripe, and I know I've been saying it from day one, Chris, the defense. 200 rushing yards, totally unacceptable. And yeah, injuries, week 15, you have to do better. And then, how in the world you don't cover CeeDee Lamb, the best wide receiver in Dallas Cowboys, probably the best wide receiver in the NFL. And on top of that, I mentioned to you earlier on X, one particular play, Dallas Cowboys wide receiver caught the ball in the second quarter. Do you know who the first player to tackle him, who cover him? DJ Wondlem. Now, how in the world would you think it's a good idea to have a pass rusher, a linebacker, cover a wide receiver, even if it's not the first or the second wide receiver? Shouldn't you have a cornerback cover a wide receiver?
Yeah, I forget what play. That was in the second half that that happened, right?
No, second quarter, second, right before the Xavier, couple of plays before the Xavier Wood penalty, which was also bad. And what, I don't know if you guys noticed it from the press box, but the referee who threw the flag against Xavier Wood was actually the referee on the far left side, closer to the Dallas bench, and that play took closer to the Panthers bench, and none of the refs threw the flag. I mean, if that was a bad penalty, wouldn't you think that referee closer to the play would have thrown the flag?
Yeah, we all that was quickly the talk in the press box on that play was like somebody from far away threw the flag. The guys closest to it did not even throw it. Yes.
That was ridiculous. And I mean, it's so frustrating. Yeah, we are a bad team, but I mean, you cannot allow 200 rushing yard. You cannot make Cooper Rush look like Joe Montana. I bet, Chris, if you played quarterback yesterday against the defense, you would have probably thrown for 500 yards. I mean, I'm kidding, but it's unacceptable. It's really unacceptable how bad they are on defense. And 3-4 is not the answer. You cannot have a linebacker covering a wide receiver. That you have to ask Cavero that question. Why was DJ Wondlem covering a wide receiver in the second quarter?
Uh-oh. I think I cut you off quickly there.
No.
Let's see. You still there? Oh, hit a
Yeah, I
button.
am. So
I,
please ask my favorite person of the year, Ijero Rivera. I'm kidding. Why? Why? Why did they have DJ Wondlem covering a Dallas Cowboys wide receiver?
all right, that's your time, man. I actually let you go over almost twice as long. I appreciate you, man. Good to talk to you. Hopefully you have a good evening.
Thanks, you too.
Take
Bye.
care. So I got confused there for a second. I thought I'd hit some buttons and the screens changed and everything. So you guys get 2 minutes. I got two people waiting in the green room, Thomas and Charles. I'm gonna get to you guys quickly. Let me try to go through talking about Shakez. And again, I love we got a new, well, Charles, if you're not a new caller, you hadn't called in a while. So I love that we're getting some interaction. Going to continue to do it. Hope you all, whether you're on a phone, computer, you can click on that link and come in. So yeah, one of those interceptions that Bryce threw yesterday to Adam Thielen, that was not so much a Bryce Young interception as much as it was a batted ball in the air. Adam didn't get a chance to get a hand on it, and the defender did, and then another guy from the Cowboys was able to scoop it up and run with it, and that's two interceptions. Bryce, with him carrying the ball, man, that was awful yesterday. I mean, he was not tucking that ball away at all as he got near contact, which allowed him to get some fumbles, unfortunately. And he lucked out. He should have had more, could have had more, but instant replay saved him on a few of those. And yeah, there you have it. Bad game for the Carolina Panthers. He said, I think Shaked said worst game ever or something like that. No, no, not at all, not at all. How quickly do we forget that opening game against New Orleans? Maybe you forget because you weren't there. We scored, well, was it 3 points? And I think they put up almost 50. That, my friend, was a fire Ivero kind of type job and get Bryce Young out of here. The Washington Commanders game, that was pretty darn bad and awful. This was a big disappointment, but it wasn't the worst. But it was definitely a disappointment, bad game. Since we had a few people waiting and we went overtime with Shaked, I'm going to go ahead and quickly transition to my guy, Thomas. But I think we had one other caller that came and went away. I don't know if I hit the wrong button, but if you please want to call back, that would be awesome. We're going to go to my man Thomas Frisbee, who looks like he's doing all right. Not about to jump off the ledge.
I mean, no, you can't jump off the ledge. I mean, this is what we expect. I mean, honestly, I mean, this loss is bad because of the front. I mean, it kind of gave everybody like, hey, great, we had some good losses against some good quality opponents, but I think this was in a way good to get their teeth knocked out because after when you're kind of getting false hope, which is great for our fan base because we're so used to just being melancholy. It's just I kind of liked this loss. It's a good thing to play pathetic, and sure we're used to it, but we're coming off some losses to where it's like, yay, we did good. Yeah, we did, but you didn't win. So this loss, I think, humbles them a little bit. Hopefully, I mean that line. Sure, Iquano, I think I said his name right, gave up, but also I think it's is it Hunt or Lewis? I can't remember who plays left guard. When Fox kept showing up those ways they let 97 from Dallas just come right through. It's like you're not picking up the block. And Bryce was lucky he didn't get his head knocked off in one of those where he was able to get around and make a play to throw it to Leggett, who just ran out of room. But I thought that was one of his better throws of the game. But honestly, I mean, just we're expected of this. It's going to happen. I'm not, like I said, I've been a fan for probably since 96, 97. I mean, this isn't the end of the world. It's just, I'm to the point to where that defense is just atrocious. It's something's got to change.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, right now, top three, top five draft pick as of right now. I don't know. It's like, do you want to go after a receiver? Do you want to go after a pass rusher? In my opinion, I think go after a pass rusher
We're
because we
number
need to
3
do something.
currently in that draft position.
Well, yeah, they need to do something at stopping the run. I mean, you for a while they were doing good, but they just can't get. They were for a while. Even Greg Olson had mentioned. I'm glad actually it was Greg Olson calling and not Jonathan Vilma, because he hates the Panthers for some reason. But I'm convinced. But he even noticed that for the past few games they were blitzing, blitzing, blitzing. They didn't blitz as much. They're like playing too conservative of soft coverage, and also for the fact it's just Canales does this. Why stop running the ball? They were running the ball effectively, but he got away from it. He always does this every so often. This was one of those games to where they were in it. They were in it, and then Dallas is like, we're just going to run all over here and throw it on you. I just don't understand. Like what Shakay had said, it's like, you have CeeDee Lamb. Why aren't you covering him? So I don't know. I'm just used to it. I'm not mad.
You're
I mean,
numb.
being mad, it's just, there's nothing to be mad about. This is our Panthers
Well,
until they
hey,
fix it.
you're at your time, so I appreciate it. Love you calling in, man, and hopefully we'll have something better to talk about next week. I'm gonna go ahead and
Uh,
comment on it. Appreciate you calling
have
in.
a wonderful night, Chris.
You as well. So I got my man Charles is patiently waiting. Give me a minute to respond to Thomas's comments, and I'm gonna get into you, Charles, and hopefully somebody else will call in too, because this is fun, right? So a few things. One, let's talk about the run stuff. He got away from it more in the second half. That first half, it wasn't too bad, okay? The first half was respectable with the balance of run and pass. First half, we had 10 passes. I'm sorry. We had 13 passes in that first half, and we had 12 rushes. So that's pretty much 50-50. Again, kind of balanced. Score at the half was 10-7, and we scored right before the half, so you felt like some momentum was coming there. And then that second half, it got away from them. But so did the score. Kind of right out the bat, Dallas came and scored off that turnover. We ended up with 15 passes in the second half and just 4 rushes. He said he was trying to be aggressive, felt like he needed to be aggressive there. So you can't exactly argue that because Dallas did come. You know, it was building. So that's what happened there. What else did Thomas talk about? Let me not forget my notes because I got my notes. Man, Thomas, you said one other thing, and I thought I wrote it down, and I forgot about it. But I think you talked about hope. And something that I try to do, and I'm going to get back to trying to do it, is trying to make sure that my supporters, my followers, my viewers, that you have your mindset in the right place. All right? Try not to get you too high or too low, depending on what's going on. And so we're still making progress. But I hope a lot of you didn't get too excited. You're like, yay, we're favored. Yay, Vegas says that we should beat the Cowboys. We're about to beat the Cowboys. Because I never thought that was going to be the case. I'm not going to say I thought that we were going to lose against the Cowboys, but I can't say that I was feeling pretty, that I was liking the fact that we were favored. I didn't like that. It's like it's too soon. It's the Cowboys. They're coming here. No, no, I don't want that to happen. I just want us to win first instead of people predicting that us win. So my 2 cents about your temperament for the rest of the year. And number one, I feel like we're going to bounce back and be fine. Fine as in we're going to continue to make some progress. Number two, the defense is going to be what it is. Not saying you should be happy with it, but just in terms of your temperament, it is what it is. We're going to allow a lot of rushing yards this week coming up. That's what's going to happen. We're not going to get improvement on the defense until next season. All right? Hopefully those two things will help you have a better experience because I want you guys to remain sane as you kind of need some patience with this Carolina Panthers team. I think we got the right people, a.k.a. Dave Canales, Dan Morgan. All right, I done made my man Charles wait a little long enough here. Let me get him on the screen. What's going on, Charles?
What's going on, man?
Hey, have you ever called in before, sir?
Yeah, it's been a minute. We
Oh,
talked a couple of times.
stop being a stranger, man. Come on, man.
Oh, but see, I still be watching though, cause I watched your live before the game Sunday. I ain't know you played receiver before, so that really I messaged you after that. I said, okay, he one of us, man.
Yeah,
But make it quick, cause I know you ain't got much time. But
No, you got your whole 3 minutes, man. Everybody else went over, so you get your 3 minutes.
to Thomas's point, this is the Panthers. If you've been around here since '96, bro, like I've watched it, I've been here for every Super Bowl, every win, every loss, everything. We were called the cardiac cats at one point because we
Indeed.
kept almost losing and then winning at the last minute. We kept doing that. That was a name for us for a minute. So this surprises me none. But you, as a player that plays too, I think the Dolphins and the Cowboys are the only two teams that I see this. I'm not letting you wear blue in my stadium. I'm not letting you wear no dark color in my stadium. So for me, that's a red flag. They played like they were at home. That's my point. The Cowboys played like they was at home,
Yeah.
and I stayed. Now, the ugly truth about the Panthers, and I love my team, I swear I do. The ugly truth is you're not gonna necessarily get your winners in the draft. You're not. You're not. Yeah, these cats be great in college, and it's awesome and all of that. The league is a different beast. You've seen the story a million times where some dude was great in college, got to the league and just fanned out. We tend to get a lot of those guys. We tend to get a whole bunch of them. A lot of guys that was looked like we was hopeful and we was gonna be all right. Then they get here and it's you know what I mean. So I say that to say you have to. Veteran players are where we need to be going. Not necessarily old, but veteran, experienced players is where our team turns around at. Problem is nobody wants to come here. Don't nobody want to come here. Don't nobody want to play in Carolina. So I love my team, like I said, but I'm a realist at the end of the day. We can get better. We do have good players. We do. But everybody got to want the same thing. I'm not surprised by losing. I live in Texas. So this hit me a little different. Man. I live here with these people. So
What
I
city
had
are
to
you
deal with this.
closest to down there?
I'm in the Dallas Fort Worth area. So I'm right here by it.
Okay.
I'm 30 minutes outside of Texas Stadium or Arlington. I'm 30 minutes away from it. But that's
Okay.
down the street here. So. But
Yeah.
it's we will get better. I do believe in that. And Bryce, I ain't mad at Bryce. And like you said, all that wasn't his fault. The fumble, yeah, that's on you. Gotta protect the ball when you go to the ground, no matter what. That fumble's on Bryce. That pick wasn't on him. Ball got batted in the air. It's not on him. And he did do better than he has in the past because when Bryce makes mistakes in the past, he get flustered. And you can't get him back. You can't
Yeah.
get him back. He done got flustered and now he's trying to be perfect. You can't get him back. But he didn't do that. He didn't do that. But I feel like we all grown men at the end of the day. So sometimes you know when your goose is cooked. And that's kind of how I felt when they started playing in the second half. They kind of started playing like we've had hope, but for the wrong reason. Yeah, we did good the last 3, 4 weeks. We didn't win any of those games though. It
No.
don't matter how good we did. We lost every one of those games.
Well, it does
So,
matter how good we did in terms of the future and progress and building. From that standpoint,
but you
evaluate.
gotta be real with yourself too, though, Chris. Like you've been in the locker room. You've been in the locker room. I don't know if you've ever experienced this or if you know what this feel like, but it's a bad feeling when it's like, man, how many games left in the season?
3.
Should I even? You know what I'm saying? How many games left? What we talking about? You know what I mean? Like that's a bad feeling. These guys get paid. I never got paid to play the game, so these guys get paid. So it really, you know what I'm saying? But I think we will bounce back. I do think we will be better. It's just don't put too much on it right now. Whatever we end with. Just don't put too much on it right now. Let's look forward to next season.
Charles, I appreciate you, man. Hopefully, I'll see you again soon. But it's comforting that if you can't tune in, that you do still watch.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And just became a member too. I wanted to let you know that. So yeah,
What the sound effects at?
yeah, I became a member. So
Thank you
I
very
got you,
much,
buddy.
man. Your membership is greatly appreciated and needed.
Man, I got you, buddy. Keep doing your thing, bro.
All right, thanks. Have a good evening.
All right.
All right, so appreciate Charles calling in. Appreciate Thomas calling in. Appreciate Shaked calling in. I think we can get one more before we get out of here. And also want to ask you to go ahead and do me a favor. Hit that like button. It's free, costs you nothing. Helps the channel continue to grow. Helps other Carolina Panther fans find out about the channel. And subscribe. We're trying to get to 15,000. I just got this in my hand. It's kind of cool, right? Then on the other side, that's how long this team has been around. We done went to 2 Super Bowls, but right now we took a little step back the other day. So let's go ahead and take a few comments on Charles's call in there. Now I will say this, and I'll talk about Rashad over at Panther Nation podcast. He was on our pregame show and talked about wanting to see how this team was coached with the lead. And man, I might try to hit him up on this one, see his thoughts. But you know that second half, the way the Carolina Panthers came out, and the way the Dallas Cowboys just took over. Man, that makes me think, man, that halftime speech this week, what he had to say, or maybe where those players' minds were at the half, perhaps after, and it's crazy because to me it seems like it's almost impossible for their mindset to have not been right after seemingly getting some momentum right at the end of the second quarter and scoring. But we came out of the half and just got beat down. It was 4 sacks in 10 plays at one point in the second and the third quarter. 4 sacks, and that's almost every other play they got to Bryce. They put up 14 points, I believe it was, in the second half. Yeah, we put up 0. It was crazy. Turnovers kept coming. Defensive stuff like Shakeda spoke about. Some interesting things happened, to say the least, on matchups with CeeDee Lamb. Interesting is what I'll call it. So, yeah, got to make some adjustments there on that end. And you just got to wonder what happened with this team and their mindset in this game this weekend. Got some. Oh, we got another call came in. All right. Hopefully that person will come through. I don't see your camera yet. But a few other things that Charles talked about that I want to make sure I comment on. The draft. Now, we might feel differently on this one, my man, unfortunately. You speaking that the draft is not the way to build a team. Hopefully that paraphrases what you said properly. But I know you were like, the draft isn't so much it. Get some guys in free agency, but it's tough to get guys in free agency. You do want to build through the draft. Now, because that gives you opportunities to get guys that you can develop, get guys that you can have for more than 1 year or 2 years, right? Hopefully you can have them for 5 years, and 3 of those years are really good because you got them trained after 2 years. You get a good guy in free agency, you're probably going to have him for 2, maybe 3, and you're going to spend a whole lot of money on him. And so technically, that's something that you can do right now, free agency, with having your franchise quarterback, which Bryce seems like he's going to be. And let me say this: when I say franchise quarterback, I don't mean like he's like the best quarterback, top five. I mean he's a guy that you're going to roll with because it's always a crapshoot trying to get that guy that you can have as your franchise quarterback. But we're not in a position to do that because even though we got a sophomore quarterback, we still have a lot of money that has gotten wasted trying to build this team, right? So we currently had a number 3 pick, I think. That was as of before the games ended yesterday. So I know there was a game going on with the Patriots, I think, that could have impacted that. So I'm not sure if that's the exact moment as of December 16th to 7/28, because I didn't check since yesterday. But building through the draft is definitely where you want to go because you get to have these guys for so long. Now, I'm still not a believer in tanking, definitely not in football. Now, tanking in basketball is a whole different story. You only got 5 players there. You get a really good guy. He could do a lot for your team. It's only 5. He's 1 of 5. He's 20% of your team. Football, you got 22 guys out there technically. You count some of the special teams, but I'm going to say 22. 1 out of 22, my math says that's about 5%, maybe. That's not gonna that's not gonna do it. And getting the guy in the draft is still a hit or miss whether or not he's going to be the guy. I think in basketball it's typically a little bit better. But nevertheless, I don't like tanking. I want to build a culture so that we can win, so we can build through the draft, and that guys will want to come here when we have a missing piece. All right, let me make sure I got everything because I see that we got somebody waiting. And oh yeah, he talked about the stadium and the Dallas Cowboys takeover. I don't feel like, actually, I know the Cowboys takeover was not as bad this year as it was last year. Last year it was terrible. Jerry Jones flew in Jimmy Johnson. He gave Jimmy Johnson like his ring of honor. He gave Jimmy Johnson something. It's like, wait a minute. You're not even in Dallas and you're recognizing somebody from your team here in Charlotte. That was a mess. The Kansas City game this year was more of a takeover than the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I will say this, weather may have had something to do with people kind of saying, all right, I'm going to sit at home. And it was a little bit colder, so people kind of bundled up. But I still feel like, no, Dallas takeover last year, much worse. And this year, the biggest takeover was the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, loving this time tonight. Make sure you please hit the like button. Subscribe if you have not subscribed. My man Q Hall just called back in. Mr. Hall, I'm waiting to see if your camera comes up. And if it does, then I'll bring you in. But you got to turn your camera on if you want to call in. Camera needs to be working. And I don't see it. Waiting. So meanwhile, while I can see if Q Hall can get his camera up, let's go ahead and get into the questions. Amp for Life, no surprise, is here tonight. She was not happy yesterday. Let's see how you feeling today. I cannot tune into the live if it's at 7 p.m. because I have an evening class every other Monday, and this is this week. Bummed as I need to vent and get some help finding the positives in the rough loss. I'm sorry. I try to make it at a time that most people can attend. We got thousands of subscribers, so it's hard to find the absolute best. But you do know for away games, I do a night before chat kind of like this. So you have the Tampa game and Atlanta game. I think I do those at 7 o'clock. I say I think because I haven't had to do one in a minute because Germany was far away, and I don't think we've been away since Germany. Where did we just go? Oh, we just were in Philly. Didn't do it in Philly. But nevertheless, appreciate your Amp for Life, and I'll help you get through it. All right, Q Hall. I see you go. I see you on, so I'm gonna try to bring you on before I lose you again. What's going on, sir?
All right. Hey, late happy birthday, my brother. How you doing?
Hey, you was a great person. I don't care what they say about you. I appreciate the birthday wishes. I'm not sure if you're
Thank you, my
talking.
brother. I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
yeah.
Nah, I just had a comment about Bryce Young. We gotta I give him that, but I still think we need another quarterback. I really do. Because if you look at him, I mean, we give him many chances. You know, I'm sorry, the little short guy. I gotta call him short. You know what I mean? But out of 32 teams, he's the shortest one. But
Brycey Poo is what somebody else calls him.
well,
Q, I am not having a good
I
connection with you, unfortunately.
tell you
I don't know if you can
what
check your connection, Q. All right,
I,
Q, I'm going to pause you for a second because you're breaking up and I can't quite hear you. So, Q Hall, I don't know if you can do anything
think
to
I
try to
lost.
get you back.
Dang.
I,
Uh,
I see you moving around.
no, something live.
Let's see. All right, so I'm going to give him a second to try to get that squared away and can come back on. I was love that we got some callers calling in. Meanwhile, I've been continuing to work through the comments. Should we lose the rest, what would our draft order be? No, we should not lose the rest. We need to build a culture. We need to get these coaches continue to fine tune what they do. We need to get these players continue to learn systems. So no, we don't need a number one draft pick. Doesn't guarantee anything more than a number three. Because so I like to say this to help get you all and what I feel is the right temperament. What draft pick was Bryce Young? Everybody, not all at once, answer. Did you answer? Bryce Young was your number one overall pick. And where are we today with it? We got Q Hall, who I might be bringing back on here in a second, and says he still doesn't feel like Bryce is the guy. Bryce was benched after the second game this season. A number one draft pick doesn't mean that you're going to win the lottery. So, as long as you have, in my opinion, a good draft pick, a good plan, and you're building a culture, you will be okay. All right, Q, I still don't see that your internet connection looks good yet. When I see that it does, I will certainly bring you on. Oh, Leonard Krause says, back to the misery. Oh, I haven't missed it one bit. It was definitely a disappointing loss. Chuck B, member. All right, I like the members that are in here. Appreciate the membership. Appreciate the membership. What's going on, Chuck B? Appreciate you tuning in. Oh, I think this is a new person here. Hopefully you are still on. I appreciate you tuning in. Queen's Yarn Boutique. My husband and I will be at the Cardinals game next week. I'm not feeling hopeful, but I'm looking forward to hanging out with the husband. Keep pounding. Hey, if you and your husband will be at the game next week, depending on what time that you get there, love to meet you and say hello. Thank you for your viewership. And so we do our live pregame show outside of the stadium, which means anyone can come to us and say hello. We start at 11, so if you're able to get there before 11, that'd be great because we could actually talk to you for a moment or two. But if you get there after 11, we'll be able to wave at you, but we'll have the show that we're doing, so we won't be able to stop, unfortunately, and take any photos or anything like that, which we love to do. But yeah, I think you should have some hope for this weekend's Cardinals game. I'll tell you all about it Sunday at 11. I'll get you up to date and let you know what exactly you should expect. But thank you for tuning in very much. Hallie Bodrick, another member. You know we got to give our members some love. Welcome back, Chris. Do you think the Panthers can win another game before the season ends? I do. Guys, for me, being around this team, seeing everything they're doing, and this weekend, what happened, this is not the normal Carolina Panthers team right here. This was like Vegas giving you the favorite, and this was like, obviously we're not going to have a good game every single week. I'm not saying I'll like be happy, do like, yay. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that you're going to have some bumps in the road as you continue to try to make the climb. That's all I'm saying. And that's what this weekend consisted of. Can we win another game? Yeah, we still got the same team. We still got the same players. We still had that. It's the same group of people that made the turnaround from, oh, we're miserable to now we're playing competitive games against the Chiefs, against the Saints. I'm sorry, against the Chiefs, get the Eagles, against the Bucks. We play the Bucks again. We play the Falcons again, and we play the Cardinals. Yeah, we can win. We can win. We can win. Appreciate you, Allie. Just looking through these comments so I can continue to do my thing and talk to you guys. 1 second. All right. All right, here we go. James Monday. In theory, Evero should be let go because it's not a Canales hire, right? And he's also awful. So, James, Evero does not have to be around. He was not a Dave Canales pick. Evero did have some interesting things happen yesterday with the coverage types, and you really wonder why those things happened. Up until recently, I've been figuring that Dave would want Evero back because he's talked so highly of him. For that reason of the relationship that they have, and I feel like the positive things that have been genuine, I feel like from Canales towards Evero, I can't say I feel like, he's definitely out of here. Now, as you know, again, James, to your point with your question, absolutely, he's not a Dave Canales hire. So just in regards to, typically, if you're not a direct hire from somebody, they're not as emotionally tied to you, even though at this level, you know, guys do a pretty good job of separating the emotion, that he would and could be let go. And Carolina also did things to make sure that they blocked him from leaving this past year when he could have left. So with all that said, I think there's definitely justification to be not the happiest guy in the world about Evero with some of the things that he is doing lately. But will he be gone? I don't quite yet have that feeling. All right. Let's continue to move on. Hey, Chris, my wife and I will be there this weekend. I hope to catch you out there. Quick question. Do they still fire the cannons after a scoring drive? I haven't heard them watching the game on TV. Jeremy, I don't ever remember a cannon being fired in Carolina. Now, do they fire the cannons in Tampa Bay? Yeah, they do fire the cannons in Tampa Bay, but they don't here in Carolina. Now, what they do, because that sounded funny, is at 12 o'clock, they sound like these sirens and stuff, if you will, to let people know, hey, it's time to come in. You can come to the stadium before the game. But no cannon, sir. They don't even do the keep pounding chant all the time. I think now they do it in the fourth quarter when they pound the drum. And past weekend, Trey Boston broke the thing terribly. I wonder if he's getting a bill for that. But currently, that's it. The defense can't stop the run, and their offense took advantage. I would say that sums it up. All right, let's continue to move on through. Chris, I'm so mad about the Panthers not playing hard yesterday. Yeah, man, it was awful. It was bad. All right, Spanish learner. Hey, Chris, that L ruined my Sunday. Being a Panthers fan is hard, but I'm going to stick beside him. Yeah, I think you were at the game yesterday for the first time, right? And I said, hey, I really hope that you can come to another game because this team has been better than they were yesterday. They've been better than that ever since, the resurgence, if you will, of Bryce Young. And that game yesterday was bad. It was bad. It was bad. But I'm glad that you're going to continue to be a Panther fan. So I hope that you continue to tune in, tell a friend, well, you already subscribed. Obviously, you're a member. So let's give it up for the member. Give you the horn there. Thank you so much, Spanish Learning, for the support. See if we got a few other things here. I wonder, Chris, if the reason why they played so bad yesterday because they looked at Vegas calling them favorite and somehow decided to overlook Dallas. So yeah, in regards to the being favored and how that could affect them, I don't think they would have overlooked Dallas, but I feel like they may have just said more so, we got this, and just be a little too confident, not as sharp, not as disciplined as they needed to be. Feeling like, hey, we just can show up. You're not going to overlook Dallas and be looking at the Cardinals. That's who our next opponent is. So, no, I don't feel like it would happen in that regard. Just more so in regards to not being able to, perform as you would, have that chip on your shoulder as you would, not have that fire as you would when the coach is telling you something and, maybe you look at the phone like, oh, we're favored. Oh, okay. That kind of deal, in my opinion. Appreciate the question, Shaqad, and absolutely appreciate your membership and support of the channel here. Also, Chris, you said your number is easy to find. I'm going to find it and text you. I want Chris's real take on Bryce. I see him as a game manager. If all other positions are perfect, keep him and build. So, yes, my number is very easy to find. My email address is easy to find. Contacting me is easy. I don't want to say it because I don't want people to just extremely easily blow me up and call me and those types of things, but it's easy to find. We'll say, though, I'm always honest, so you don't have to wait for me to pick up the phone or to respond to an email. I can tell you right now, here's my honest take on Bryce. For me, last year was pretty bad, and I was confused about why we drafted him number 1. First 2 games of the season, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is just not the most fun job in the world to have here covering this team. And then they benched him, and then Andy Dalton played, and then Andy Dalton had the accident, and then Bryce came back. And for me, when Bryce came back, I said, Bryce is going to be our guy. He needs to be our guy to the end of the season, no matter what happens, because the decisions made about Bryce Young needs to be permanent at this point. So play him the rest of the season no matter what. And that appears to be what we're getting. Now, do I right now feel like Bryce is phenomenal? No. Does Bryce have to be phenomenal? No. What he was doing before yesterday is enough. That's good. That's a franchise quarterback in the sense of this could be our quarterback for years to come because we know what we got. He can manage a game, if you want to call it a game manager, whatever. But he can play this position. He can not fold under pressure. He can bring us back. He can have his game winners. He could drive 90 yards when we need to. Those are some of the components that you need to have or would love to have, and he's been having those. So right now, I'm okay with Bryce. I haven't lost hope with Bryce. He had a bad game, and I feel like he's a different guy now. So I'm not folding on Bryce. I feel good about Bryce in terms of wanting to continue to see him play out the rest of the season. And definitely by the end of the season, I can give you bring him back, not bring him back. But if you want me to give you one as of now, I say bring Bryce back. And if you do have some kind of doubt, as in Dan Morgan, about him being actually the right guy, then you go ahead and draft the guy, or you get another quarterback in here, but you don't take the quarterback with the first pick. I don't feel that you do that. All right. Thank you, Amp for Life, for your questions. Appreciate it very much. Antonio McClanahan coming here late with the What's Up, Chris. And always follow my man. Let me get those hands up higher. Antonio's advice. Like, subscribe, and share the stream. Please. Thank you very much. Hey, it's been real. I love talking to you guys. We had many call-ins tonight, which I appreciate. I want you to give yourselves a round of applause for calling into the show. We'll continue to do what we do. as you may know, I was really known for doing some one-on-one interviews. I hadn't done them much, but I got back to them because you guys asked for them. So this week, we are trying to line up our one-on-one interview, and those are usually done on a Thursday, and then they're put out there to you all to see on Saturday. So if you have been enjoying the one-on-one interviews, they will continue. We're looking to get a guy on the defensive side of the ball to sit down with this week. I don't want to say his name until I get it actually locked up. But I think you all will enjoy it. And we'll continue our coverage as we always do, following this team every day, every week, home game, away game, international game, and get you all the information for you to decide how you want to feel about it. Thanks so much for tuning in. Uh-oh. I had a question, looks like. I do need to see Dave Canales show Bryce support. It appears he does not give him an endorsement. I feel like Dave has been revealing more about his views on Bryce lately, in terms of saying like there was a plan, in terms of saying that he did, think that Andy was going to be the guy and was rooting for Andy, and then they had the situation, and now Bryce is the guy. I feel like his play calling has changed for Bryce, his endorsing Bryce as the guy. I'm talking about the positive things that Bryce did yesterday and why he left Bryce in there. Now, I'm not saying Bryce did everything perfect, but he talked, in terms of endorsing, he did talk about the positive things, and he didn't just say, we can't do this, we can't do that, we can't, in terms of Bryce. He spread it out evenly across the board with all the players on the team. So I feel like Bryce and Dave have been building and gaining trust in one another with the whole thing about play calling. And I mean, just look at, man, I need to put this out there. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. And I'll share this with you guys before I get out of here. Give me just a second here. What did you send us up? Week 15, I think it was. Give me a second, guys. I'm going to see if I can pull something up in real time as we're talking here. One more. Yeah, you guys are going to get to see it first. I forget to post this. Ooh. All right. So I just discovered something as I looked. Man. All right. Sorry for. Hey, I'm gonna pull a graphic on the screen. I'm not gonna waste time to make it perfectly fit. So you're gonna see some of the edges are exposed, but nevertheless, as we talk about Bryce Young, Dave Canales, man. What happened yesterday? This ball game was not. Here we go. Uh-oh. Hold on a second. So again, I said that this is going to be a little not over the full screen here. Sorry about this right here. Oh, there. Sorry about this. But here's the Bryce Young pass chart from yesterday. Wow. You could say some of this was related to the pass rush that they were able to get on Bryce, but previous games they have had some pass rush on him, and he got the ball downfield. But yesterday, man, this is almost like old Bryce. Most of his passes were like 5 yards or less. He did have a touchdown that went deep, and then he had an interception that went even deeper. Oh, and he has one other incompletion a little bit further down the field, but man, it looks different. Again, I didn't think I was going to see this before I pulled it up, so you guys get to hear me soaking it in as I share it with you. Yeah, man, I feel like the play calling had to have been different yesterday for this to happen, because Bryce got blitzed. I think the most was against the Chiefs, that they blitzed him a lot, and he performed really, really well. Let me see if I can pull that up really quick. I'm not going to put it on the screen. So the Chiefs would have been week 12, maybe? Carolina Panthers. Who do we play? Yeah. Kansas. Wow. I'm going to leave you guys with this to reflect on. I'm going to watch some more tape to see if I can get to more analysis. So here's the Chiefs game Well, they blitzed Bryce a lot. And that ball went all over the place. And they blitzed him yesterday and it didn't. So, wow. Oh. All right. There you have it. That's your post game day after. Let's talk about it show. Appreciate you all very much for tuning in. Much love to my members. Please subscribe, like, tell a friend. Meanwhile, I'll see you guys Wednesday. Chris Jenkins for Charlotte Vibe.